Once upon a time, in a small village surrounded by mountains, there lived a 24-year-old young man named Marco. Marco was a restless soul. His mind was always full of thoughts, endless thoughts that came and went without control. These thoughts made him feel tired and uneasy. He often felt unhappy about his past and worried too much about his future. Because of this, his mind felt like a constant storm, never calm, never silent. He struggled to sleep peacefully, and slowly, even his smile began to disappear. One day, Marco heard about a distant village in the hills. People said a wise old man lived there, once a famous psychologist in the city. He had helped many people find peace in their lives before leaving the busy world and settling in nature for a quiet life. Even in his old age, he sometimes guided those who came seeking answers. Hearing this gave Marco hope. He thought to himself, maybe this man can help me find peace. After several days of a difficult journey, Marco finally reached the village in the hills. There, he saw a small house covered in green plants. On the porch sat the old man, eyes closed, calm and peaceful. Marco walked up to him and said softly, "Sir, my mind is always restless. I cannot stop my thoughts. I feel no peace. Can you help me?" The old man said, "So you are searching for peace? Then come with me. I will give you a small task." He took Marco to a small yard and filled a glass with water to the very top. It was so full that even a slight movement would cause it to spill. He handed the glass to Marco and said, "Walk to the edge of the village and come back. But be careful, do not spill a single drop." Marco was surprised, but he agreed. He held the glass tightly and began walking slowly. The road was narrow and busy, people walking, shopkeepers calling out, dogs barking, and noise everywhere. But Marco did not look anywhere else. His eyes stayed fixed only on the glass. Step by step, he walked carefully. People watched him with curiosity, but no one disturbed him. They sensed something important was happening. Finally, Marco returned safely. He said proudly, "Sir, I did it." Not a single drop was spilled. The old man nodded with a calm smile and asked, "Good, but tell me, did you notice the children playing on the side of the road, or hear the dogs barking?" Marco was surprised. He replied, "No, I saw nothing and heard nothing. It was only focused on the glass." The old man smiled and said softly, "That is the secret. When your mind is fully in the present moment, there is no fear, no confusion, and no unnecessary thoughts. While you were focused on the glass, your mind became completely still. You were not thinking about the past. You were not worried about the future." Slowly, Marco understood. This was the peace he had been searching for. Peace is not something we find outside. It already exists within us when we learn to live in the present moment. Marco lowered his head and said quietly, "Now I understand. If I want peace, I must learn to stay in the present moment." The old man smiled as the sun began to set. Golden light spread across the ground and birds flew back to their nests. Marco began his journey home, but he was no longer the same restless man. He had changed. Inside, he was calm, because now he knew the secret of peace. If this story changed the way you think, even a little, imagine what the next one will do. Subscribe to Untold Reality to change how you see life.